all for this 16 minutes on the 16th day of the 16th year of 16th Street Actors Studio. And when our lovely team said we should acknowledge our 16th year, I thought, what better way than having a really inspiring conversation with two women that I admire greatly and who I regard as very, very dear friends. Without further ado, I would love to welcome world-renowned voice specialist and author Patsy Rodenburg and award-winning and much-beloved actress and patron of 16th Street, Deborra-Lee Furness. Welcome to you both, friends.
Great to be here. Hi, Patsy. Hey, Kim. Hey, everyone in the room.
Thank you.
Just wonderful. You know, I was thinking the last time we were together was in your apartment, Deb, in New York a few years ago when we had dinner. And I was only thinking about how much things have changed in all of our lives, but in the world. And I thought about what I'd really love to talk to you about. We've only got 16 minutes, but you know, this never-ending question for me is, how do we show up with our lives and be present to all that life presents us? When it's difficult, when it's uncertain, when we're challenged, and when we're facing incredible adversity, how do we do that? And I just wanted to ask you, Patsy, if we kick off, because we've got such a short amount of time together, your response to that question about being present amidst, at times, difficulty.
There's only one way out, and that is to be present. There's only one way out. And I think we've got to realize that what we do as artists is one of the things that bring people back to their presence. As far as I'm concerned, the three things that really make us present as human beings is connection to nature, connection to art, because that's what art is about, to bring us into our humanity with each other, and of course, community. Any anthropologist that you talk to will say that more important than the invention of the wheel or taming fire is our ability to make community, and the people who connect community are the artists. If the artist cannot be present, then we're fucked, you know? And as a child, I found Shakespeare very early in my life because there was no books in the house. And I just knew that these important stories, and all great stories are important. I mean, we get trapped by trivial stories. Switching on, we switch off, if you see what I mean. We switch on to what we think are storytellings, but all the great stories tell us about three things, really. Fundamentally about the importance of unconditional love, the importance of understanding that if we have power, we mustn't misuse it, but we have to use it. When we feel powerless, we go into a place of shrinking away from our presence, or actually pushing forward. And we just have to stay and be. Shakespeare says it in Hamlet, to be or not to be. That is the question. That is the question. And we have to show up now, because there is hope. And one of the great things about great storytelling is that we realize that we're not alone. It has all happened before. It has all happened before. And that by understanding that, we know that we can find our way out. Nobody has them. Look, people at certain moments in their life have the monopoly of pain. We have to understand that we're all in it together. Yeah. And and that's what a great artist does. They go out on stage, they bring their humanity, we awaken the audience, and then we have dialogue of some sort. And one other thing I'll say, you know, the ancient Greeks, and I think other people said the very simple thing, that every curse has a gift and every gift has a curse. Whatever happens to you, you can turn it. But also, you know, you can be very successful and that seems to be a gift, but there's a curse there. So so the final word I'll use is balance. We have to, in ourselves, balance ourselves and others in this. And we can only do that by being present.
Thank you so much, Patsy. Hey, Deb, your thoughts on the question of showing up for oneself and each other, especially when the going gets tough?
Patsy, you said everything so beautifully, and I agree with community. And I think we forget that this life, we sort of tend to tuck it away. We are going to die, and we do suffer. And we seem to, everything's Instagram, hey, I'm having a great time. We all know that we are suffering. But I, like you, Patsy, presence is it, community is it, and everything that happens to us. And that's what I do now. I go, God's rejection is redirection and protection. So every single thing, whereas appears to be bad, is actually a test or a lesson. And I believe that we invited in, all of us, we invited in with our energy, with whatever we come from our ancestry. We come in with a whole lot of stuff. It didn't begin with us. So, and I believe we choose this embodiment. So we are, everything is a lesson, everything is a test. And it's how we deal with that, is whether we pass that we get to go the next level for our soul's evolution. That's how I feel. So whenever anything shit happens to me, I go, I have to get the lesson from this. So I try to really, I do my work and go, what is this teaching me about me? And it's always bring it back to us. And you said unconditional love. I've been challenged with that of late, because I don't know that any of us, we are humans. I don't know that any of us has unconditional. With children is different, but unconditional love, I do believe we are transactional. I do believe as humans, we are transactional. So I did believe in unconditional love, and I don't know that I do anymore. But there, again, we will attract what we need to learn, and there are seasons and things come into our life for a season, and then we traverse that and go to the next part. But what I found when I am in a tough season, community and connection, as you said, we are built as humans for connection. That's who we are. That's part of our nature. I don't believe some people, isolation. I know that and I know, Kim, you do the silent retreats. I'd last 5 seconds. I need to talk about my problems. What do you think? What do you think? But it's like, but what I keep coming back to, love. Love is the all, be it all, end it all. And we keep looking for love outside of ourselves. And I think the love is within us, and through artistry, throughout art, whether it's writing or painting or acting, directing, whatever it is, it's storytelling. And so that we are comforted, as you said, Patsy, that it's all happened before. We've all experienced, there's this the number of emotions, and we all get to experience them all depending on the circumstances, and different things will trigger us. But we all, it's in all the stories that Shakespeare's covered it all: betrayal and love and heartbreak and, jealousy and all these things. It's all there. It's laid out for us. And there's comfort in knowing you aren't alone. And I think that's the biggest thing, that people, when they're going through a hard time, we feel isolated, we feel alone, but we're never alone. And it's there either in books or in movies or in the theater or in music or art. So anyway, yeah, that's just a few of my random thoughts.
Thanks very much, Deb. A lot of people submitted questions, and I tried to choose one. There was specific ones for you, Deb, specific ones for you, Patsy. And there were many kind of ones that were common. So I've put one together for each of you that I think really reflected the sentiment. So Patsy, from your side, what do you think the line is between wishing to make others comfortable, which is often a female thing, not always, and being true to oneself?
Question.
Wow. It's as a leader, if you teach a class, you are a leader. You have to hold the space. I don't know whether there is a safe space, if you're saying comfortable. I don't know if a safe space really exists, but we try to bring a community together. So let's go back to Shakespeare. I think if we have power, we mustn't misuse it. I said it, but we have to use it. And we're sort of we're bedded into the idea that we have to be liked. I get students writing to me because I've had a bit of a, thing with the Guildhall and leaving, and now they wrote to me and they said that I couldn't bear you, but I use your work every day of my life. And if I talk about something personally, which I doesn't, I the my father didn't like me, and I now know that it was a gift because I don't have that in me. Because what you have to do is a teacher or a leader, you have to serve something bigger than you. You have to serve for an actor serves the text, the ensemble, and the audience. And as a teacher, I do that. But you have to believe that we are all valuable. And yet, you can't let one member of a group destroy the group. So, if I don't care how big a star you are, if you're fucking around, you have to be held and challenged, So I don't know if I'm answering the question of safety, but I think the number one thing is we're not safe. I remember once working for a bit with the Hopi, and the elders. I've never asked to work with these groups, but they asked me in. And one of the elders said to me, a woman, she said, whenever we, as a very spiritual people, feel safe, we move on. We believe we're safe. We believed that democracy is going to be all right, but we just sat and watched, the potential destruction of the democracy of America. But at least we know. I just say one other thing. As a child, I still am. I can't bear horror films. I believe everything you see. But I was all right as the child in a sense of horror watching, you're watching this group and there's a monster out there and they're in the jungle and they're all at a sort of clustering at a few roads and they'll say, you go that way, you go that way. And I will be shouting, no, stay together. Stay together. But when people understand in a story what's really going on, at least we have a chance to fix it. And I think this is a seminal moment that we realize what's going on. We realize that that we've got a few years to sort the climate out. So safety is maybe sometimes not useful for us. We have to realize that things are out there. Fundamentally, though, I believe the vast majority of people are decent. It's only a few that have fucked it up. I mean, in the corporate world, all people fuck it up. So I don't know if I'm answering it, but there is no such thing really as safety.
Yes.
It's interesting. It's interesting you said, and I'll just say this, I don't even know if I was conflating comfort with safety, but maybe there is some notion of that. I was thinking more often when I've noticed this in my own life, when I'm very direct with people, I'm very clear that my intention is there's nothing ill toward, but I'm direct. I watch people get very uncomfortable.
Well,
And
fuck, they've just got, I mean, that's why students write, I couldn't bear you. No, I'm not cruel. I don't think I'm cruel. I'll just say, no, you've got to do it again. You've got to do that exercise again.
Yeah.
Because it's an act of love and respect of somebody's talent to say, as Kent says to Lear, see better, be better.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think we're at a very important moment. At least we know what's going on and we can harness ourselves, and we mustn't have fear. We must not be frightened. And what I always say in teaching leadership, this is something about women and women in power. I think is one of the reasons why I still work in the corporate world, because once a woman takes power in the right way, it's better. It's better. The thing that we do is that we don't speak out soon enough. So one of my mantras is speak sooner rather than later. So I control groups hopefully with love, and then hopefully the group is working so well that you can walk away. A leader doesn't need to lead all the time, because if the community should lead, and you intervene, having worked with bonobos and imps, chimps and things, you watch one of them will go in and just deal with something and then back off. But speak sooner rather than later. As soon as somebody annoys me in a class, within 5 seconds of starting a group, somebody annoys you, you say, what are you doing over there? We often speak too late and then we get, what are you doing over there?
Yeah.
We let it fester. So part of comfort and part of dealing with each other, of course, you have to negotiate everything. But if you're looking after anybody, you've got to tell the truth lovingly and risk them saying, I hate you. My son often said to me as a child, when I stopped him doing something, I don't like you at all. I hate you. Well, yes, but I know a bit more than you at this moment, and you're not putting your fingers in that fire. You know.
Yep. Yeah.
So I don't, it's a bit of a ramble here.
No, thanks, Patsy. That's terrific. Deb, for you, the question is, can you tell us what you have learned about strength and vulnerability?
Okay, vulnerability was a word I always hated. And I'm an actor. And that's where the joy. I think my greatest lesson has been that vulnerability is our greatest strength. It is actually a strength. And we always interpret vulnerability as a weakness. And I am now extremely comfortable being uncomfortable. And we talk about the discomfort. I think discomfort is where the magic happens. Because if we're safe and we're comfy, you don't grow. You just sit there nice and relaxed, put your feet up and chill. So I now welcome the discomfort. As much as I don't like it, I know that when I'm not comfortable, it's the universe saying to me, Deb, what's going on? Why aren't you comfortable? Okay, it's something for me to look at. And I'm a bit ADD, so I love a project. I love the next thing. So I think we should embrace the discomfort, embrace fear, embrace when we don't like someone. And so what is that? What is that telling me about me? What was the original question? I went off there.
About what have you learned about strength and vulnerability?
And strength, you realize, well, you only realize your strength when you are given a challenge. So when you are uncomfortable, that's when you realize your strength and your resilience, how you handle that. I know people say to me when you're going through a tough time, are you moving forward? Well, where else is there to go? There's nowhere else to go. So you gotta move forward, and you can do it. And you get to choose how you move forward. And there's no shortcuts. If you're going through a hard time, you can't just park it or put it in a box, whatever. You got to sit in it, experience it. And that's what I love for my craft as an actor and a director and a writer, that I am using this material. It's just feeding my little toolbox to all the discomfort, all the pain, all the challenges. They are life's magic stuff. And we push them away. We go, oh, no, don't like that. We're doing ourselves a disservice, because I don't think we were sent here to have a good time. I think we were sent here to wake up and learn. I think this is a great big school that we're in. And we've come here to learn shit, not to go to the Bahamas and put the sunscreen on and order a margarita. Although that is nice in between times. We do need that so that we can keep moving forward.
Thanks, Deb. The number 16, it actually has a significance. It's about seeking deeper truths. It's about wisdom. It's about new beginnings. It actually has a kind of spiritual context to it, which is something very pertinent to me at this point in my life. And can I ask you both a question with regards to your lives and what you wish the rest of your life to be about? Is there something in particular or something specific for you that you wish to be the thing that moves you forward in life?
You want me to speak?
Yeah.
Or Deborah might have something to say. I mean, it's
No, you go.
Well, moving forward, I mean, I was lucky enough to work when I was young with Beckett, and but the moment I read I Can't Go On, I'll Go On, I thought, oh yes, I know that one. He, all the time, I can't go on, I'll go on. I don't want to, I don't, number one, I don't want to be redundant, and that's a huge, maybe that's ego, but if I've got knowledge, I was just talking to an actor yesterday, and his father is a great actor who just died, and I was just talking about how much has been given to me, You know, when you look at your life, you've had more gifts than you've had what I've had. You know, so great actors, great writers have given me knowledge, so that it is critical that I give it back. It is critical that the knowledge, hundreds of brilliant artists, writers, all sorts, Olympians, sports people, they've all given me knowledge. And I feel that just giving back knowledge in any way that I can is the way that I can go forward. I mean, I do, but you also have to work on yourself all the time, because you have to listen to the gremlins, don't you? You have to, you know, you have to all the time. I say, when I teach leadership, and I say this to myself, if you are in any form of leadership, an actor on stage or whatever, you risk your soul every moment of the day of your life. You risk your soul, because the more power you get, the more you're more vulnerable to misusing it.
Thank
So
you,
you
Pat.
have, yeah.
Thank you, my love. And Deb, just finishing off with you, because none of us know what's around the corner. What do you feel at this point is either yet to be done, yet to be known, or yet to do?
Okay. My latest list is I'm embracing uncertainty and impermanence. That is a given. And I think we all push that away, but by bringing it close and acknowledging that. For me, going forward is I want to maintain my passion and purpose. And like Patsy, exactly, I feel a responsibility to use my experiences and my knowledge and my hard-earned wisdom to give that to others that will benefit from where I have walked. And I like to use, as an artist, I like to use all my stuff in the work. So I can do that through art. It's more interesting than by putting it into artistry than just sort of a dry, hard lesson in life. You're like, this is how you do it. So I want to make the magic out of the stuff that has not been fun. I want to turn that in to magic. I like to think of myself as the magic maker. I like to make magic, because we're given this life. We should enjoy it, but we know there's a lot of suffering. We know there's a lot of shit we have to deal with. There's relationships to navigate. And we've all, you know, relationships are the hardest things, because you know, with bosses, with children, with everything. And we have to learn the tools, how we navigate those relationships, because they're so important, because connection and community to me and love are the most important things. So I'm embracing all the hardship, which I used to push away. I'm embracing that and bringing it closer. And it's actually, I think, bringing me freedom. It takes courage to do that. So if you have courage to step in to the hard stuff, it actually, in the end, gives you freedom. And with freedom, you can express through it however you want to express it.
That's so beautiful. And you wouldn't, the 16 minutes have come and gone. I want to just conclude with one thing that I think has come out of what you have said that I think is really meaningful. It's something the Dalai Lama says: never give up. No matter what is happening, no matter what is going on around you, never give up. So with that in mind, Deb, Patsy, thank you so much for joining us for the 17 minutes. Deb, I'll see you for dinner soon. And Patsy, I'll see you in Portugal.
Oh, that sounds good, deal.
Come.
Bye,
Thank
Patsy.
you.
Bye, Kim.
Thank
Bye,
you,
everyone.
Bye, everybody. Thank you both so much. Much
Keep
love.
dancing. Keep dancing.
Keep dancing.